The consequences of not applying EHEDG hygienic design guidelines when engineering and designing food processing equipment can reach further than many of us may expect at the first glance. And that is the overarching theme of a series of EHEDG Connects webinars. And the upcoming webinar focuses on one specific aspect of this: maintenance and installation. And the webinar presenter is Dimitri Tavernarakis. He calls in from Greece. Thank you for joining us, Dimitri.
Thank you for coming, Rob.
Can you tell us why you became a chair of a new EHEDG working group that now develops a new guideline on this topic? It must be a topic of interest for EHEDG.
Yeah, sure, Rob. So, yeah, first of all, with my background, I'm a mechanical engineer from Greece, and I think about over 20 years of experience into equipment development and the production line design, industrial line designs. Throughout my career, I've been involved with several projects within the food industry and outside, which gave me the opportunity to build up a lot of knowledge and experience on equipment reliability and performance of line design and the latest management standards like the Six Sigma, for example, and digitalization of industries, which is the latest, let's say, trend. Then at some point, I exclusively start focusing in the food industry, and I get engaged with the EHEDG. I saw the work that the organization is doing, and I'm really a fan of and very, very proud of being able to participate into different guidelines. So throughout this participation, I saw this opportunity that there is the opportunity of having a guideline with regards as well to something which is already designed, as we call it, the legacy equipment. So, and then we propose that there was already this thought in the organization, and thankfully, I'm honored they agree for me to lead a group of people, experts in their fields, to establish a guideline with regards to the maintenance of infrastructures, food factories and equipment.
Dimitri, how important is maintenance for food safety and for the productivity results in the food industry?
So, yeah, first of all, the importance of maintenance. The reason that equipment need to be reliable, because we don't want them to break down. We see, again, statistically, that around 50% of the waste of the product is because of breakdown of the equipment. So proper maintenance to ensure that the equipment are reliable in order to have to save the losses that we have. At the same time, the equipment itself can be the root cause of contamination. So there is the direct cause of contamination by breaking down foreign material into the product stream, or have it break down. I have maintenance people working in a GMP area, so they would increase indirectly, let's say, the food safety risk. So these are the things that would elaborate in the workshop. Why and what is important, and why is important, and how we recommend this to be addressed.
What industry stakeholders are represented in this new working group, and how did you find them?
I'm very happy with the people involved because it's a wide range of applications. So there are people from material experts or chemists that we're talking about. We're elaborating the reasoning why the polymers, for example, are considered consumables and what are the recommended frequency of replacement. Also components like conveyor manufacture, belting materials. So what is a consumable and why? How the lubricants, which type of lubricants should be used. So also another important factor, test of components like dryers, like crack tests. Why do we need them? How often is recommended to do the crack test, which is very, very interesting and food risk subject. At the same time, we will elaborate on with these people. We are able to establish, let's say, the frequency of maintenance based on the food safety risk.
Now, here at EHEDG, of course, we know that every type of equipment has its own maintenance needs, and sometimes the same type of equipment from different equipment providers can have different maintenance needs. So When you look at the supply chain of the equipment, you have the equipment developers, you have the system integrators, you have the end users. How did you approach the new guideline, the contents of the new guideline and of this upcoming webinar from the perspective of the supply chain and its communication channels?
It's very correct what you say as well. With regards to the maintenance, it needs to be clear, and this is what we emphasize as well, that it is the responsibility of the manufacturer. The manufacturer of the equipment is responsible to establish proper documentation of the proper intended scope of use of the component, so that it's clear to the integrator who makes the equipment. Then the equipment is responsible for documentation of the equipment in order to be properly integrated in the line. And then the line designer collects all of these documents and they establish their own documentation with regards, which is the manual of the line design, of the whole designed line.
Let's just stick for another minute to this aspect of the documentation that has to be included in the preferably hygienically designed equipment of the equipment developers. How does that relate to ultimately the actual use that can be very different in different circumstances at the end user's site? This
is something that I was keep on emphasizing more than 15 years ago, even before my work in the food industry. There are protocols of management of maintenance, kind of total productive maintenance, let's say, or Six Sigma. Those are systems that could have been integrated to the development of the equipment. So imagine having equipment which are developed for an environment which is a Six Sigma environment. So the documentation is addressing what is the operator doing, what are the delegation of the tasks of the maintenance, what is the daily tasks, what are the monthly tasks, all of these preventive protocols, the list of consumable components, the frequency of changing these components. So the documentation explicitly on how to, that can be integrated in the master maintenance program of a factory, of the owner. So the owner purchases equipment, and these equipment are already plugged into their master maintenance program, for example. Imagine if you have a computerized maintenance program and the owner or the vendor of the equipment gives you the structure of the equipment that it's needed into the computerized maintenance program in order to execute maintenance orders. And this is the final, let's say, outcome, the ultimate goal.
Dear viewers, all of you who have already attended one of our earlier EHEDG Connects webinars know that each EHEDG Connects webinar presentation is followed up by a 30-minute Q&A session that offers a unique opportunity to post questions to our experts. Dimitri, you have had many questions in the past. What were your most memorable ones?
I will tell you the one question that I find kind of controversial is like, if somebody chooses an equipment to be refurbished, end of life, then what happens to that equipment? I mean, what is the end of life process that you would follow? Could it be used in the food industry still? Could it be sold as scrap, as material? And this is something that needs to be further investigated, for example. Or my second best question is about digitalization. How refurbishment modernize equipment to the digital world now.
And there you also touch, of course, on another very important topic related to hygienic design and particularly maintenance, also probably that sustainability, of course, the use of resources, water, energy, and so on. It's all interconnected, of course, also within EHEDG. So we carve out these little topics and you focus on that. But there's always more to say. So I guess this is just enough to motivate people to register. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Rob.